Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Blackbeard is a confirmed Cerberus. That's right, Marshall D. Teach isn't just any pirate. He's the three-headed guardian of the underworld. Straight out of Greek mythology, adapted into the crazy world of One Piece. And to prove it, I'm only going to use facts from the manga. With chapter references you can check for yourself and get your mind blown. We'll break this theory into 3 parts, just like the 3 heads of the Hellhound. And each one will convince you more than the last. Ready? Let's go! First up, the Jolly Roger the pirate flag. Basically every captain's business card in One Piece. Blackbeard's is unique, guys. 3 skulls lined up, facing forward, left and right, with crossbones behind. That's no coincidence. In the manga, Blackbeard's flag first shows up in chapter 234 during the Jaya arc, when Teach and his crew are introduced as those maniacs who destroy everything for fun. Now look, normal flags have 1 skull like Luffy's with the straw hat, or Whitebeard's with the mustache. But Blackbeard's has 3. Why? Because it represents Cerberus, the 3-headed dog guarding the gates of Hades. Each skull is one of the monster's heads, ready to bite anyone who comes close. Oda loves this kind of symbolism. Remember Kaido's Jolly Roger with dragon horns? Same deal here. But for Blackbeard, it's a huge spoiler that he's not 1 person, but 3 in 1. Think about it. Cerberus is described as a massive dog with 3 heads, each one watching a different direction, exactly like the skulls on the flag. In chapter 440, during Thriller Bark, Oda even shows us a literal Cerberus, the 3-headed zombie dog Luffy, runs into in the forest. Coincidence? No way. That little monster is foreshadowing Blackbeard, proof that devil fruits or creatures with multiple heads exist in the One Piece world. And Blackbeard, with his 3-skull flag, is basically screaming, "I'm the Hellhound!" But wait, it gets even better when you connect it to his powers. He ate not 1 but 2 devil fruits, the Yami Yami no Mi and the Gura Gura no Mi, in chapter 577 at Marineford. How can a normal human do that without exploding? Easy, because he's a Cerberus, with 3 selves inside, each one holding a fruit. And that 3rd skull? Still waiting for the 3rd fruit, maybe Luffy's. Or something epic at the very end of the series. Say ha ha ha! Oda's a genius. Now, let's talk about his ship's name. Another smack in the face to anyone doubting this theory. Blackbeard's ship is called the Saber of Xebec, revealed in chapter 1096 during the God Valley flashback, where we learn about Rox D. Xebec, Blackbeard's idol. But hold up, Saber of Xebec? In Japanese, Saber sounds like Saba, and when you combine it with Xebec, it echoes Cerberus of Xebec. Like literally Xebec Cerberus. Oda loves wordplay. Remember how the D stands for dawn or dream? Same deal here. Japanese fan theories point out that saber could come from saber, a sword, but it also phonetically ties into Cerberus, Kerubirusu in katakana. And if you mash Xebec with saber, it all scrambles into sounding like the Hellhound's name. In chapter 957, when Sengoku talks about Rox, he mentions Blackbeard was part of the crew, and the ship's name is clearly a tribute. But what if Blackbeard wasn't just a crewmate, but literally Rox's guard dog, like the Cerberus itself, who ate a human fruit to become a pirate? Think about it again. In mythology, Cerberus is the loyal guard of the underworld, and Rox was basically the king of pirate chaos. In chapter 1095 at Egghead, we see more of that dark past, and Blackbeard is always tied to darkness, thanks to the Yami Yami fruit. Xebec's Cerberus fits perfectly Blackbeard carrying his master's legacy as a mythical beast. And check this fun detail. In chapter 803, when Blackbeard shows up post-time skip, his ship is described as a floating fortress with masts that look like horns or even extra heads. Coincidence? Nope. That's Oda laughing at us. The flag and the ship are the foundations of this theory, visual, and name-based proof that Teach is the 3-headed dog. Still not convinced? Let's talk about his sleep or lack of it. Here's where Blackbeard's behavior screams Cerberus louder than Luffy's King Kong gun. Remember the myth? Cerberus, Hades' watchdog, never sleeps because one of its 3 heads is always awake, guarding the gates of hell. And guess what? Blackbeard never sleeps. That's canon straight from the manga. How can a human survive without sleep? Simple. He's not a normal human. He's a Cerberus with 3 consciousnesses rotating in shifts. One is always awake while the others rest. In chapter 225, back in Jaya, when Luffy and Zoro first meet Blackbeard, they call him they instead of he, like they sensed multiple presences. Pure Oda foreshadowing. If he's a mythical Zoan, like Sengoku's Buddha fruit, he could literally switch heads to stay awake forever. Imagine, one head eats the Yami Yami, another eats the Gura Gura, and the 3rd is waiting its turn. In chapter 577 at Marineford, Doc Q even hints at it when he says Blackbeard has an abnormal body structure. Abnormal? How? Like a 3-headed dog hiding inside a fat pirate. And in mythology, Cerberus guards treasures of the underworld without ever sleeping, while Blackbeard hunts devil fruits as treasures, never resting in his quest for the One Piece. Finally, let's talk about his bounty, the pun hidden in the numbers. In chapter 1106, after Egghead, Blackbeard's bounty is revealed as 3,196,000 1,000,000 berries. Look at those last digits, 3996. In Japanese, Goro weighs wordplay, 3 is san, 9 is kyuku, and fans decode 3996 as san kokoro ku. 3 hearts or 3 souls. Back in chapter 803, his previous bounty was 2,247,600,000, which fans tied to a different pun, but the current one is the real clincher. Octopuses have 3 hearts? Sure, but Cerberus has 3 heads, each with its own soul. Oda loves these number jokes. Remember how 5 to 6 spells Gomu for Luffy's fruit? Same thing here. This is proof Blackbeard has 3 essences inside him, which is why he can eat multiple devil fruits without dying. We've reached the grand finale. You've already seen how the 3-skull Jolly Roger, the saber of Zebek's ship, and Blackbeard's insomnia scream Cerberus louder than Luffy's Gear 5th and Egghead. But now, it's time for the final proof that's gonna seal the coffin on this theory and make you shout, Oda, you genius. We're diving into Shanks' scar, the clues scattered throughout the manga, and why Marshall D. Teach is the 3-headed hound of the underworld with chapter receipts so nobody can call this fake. And if this doesn't convince you, I swear I'll eat my straw hat. Say ha ha ha, let's hit the climax. First, let's talk about Shanks' scar. Basically the biggest Blackbeard is a monster poster Oda ever drew. In chapter 434, during Shanks' meeting with Whitebeard at Marineford, the red-haired emperor points to his left eye and drops the bomb. This scar. Teach gave it to me. And it's not just any wound, it's 3 deep parallel slashes that look like the claws of a wild beast. That's not a sword cut, not a stab, that's a claw mark. In mythology, Cerberus isn't just a dog with 3 heads. He's got sharp claws strong enough to rip apart anyone trying to sneak past the gates of Hades. Now here's the kicker. In chapter 966, during the Wano flashback, we learned Shanks already had that scar back when he was younger, before Marineford, and before Blackbeard even ate the Yami Yami no Mi. So that wound wasn't caused by a devil fruit. It came from a natural, or better yet, animal ability. And what kind of animal leaves 3 perfect slash marks? A mythical beast like Cerberus, who could have partially transformed to strike Shanks? Now, let's connect it to another visual clue Oda threw right in our faces. Blackbeard's appearance and aura. In chapter 234 at Jaya, when Luffy and Zoro first meet Teach, they call him they instead of he, as if they felt multiple presences at once. That's not just a quirky line, that's epic foreshadowing. If Blackbeard really is a Cerberus, then he's carrying 3 personalities or essences inside him, just like the 3 heads of the Hellhound. In chapter 441 at Thriller Bark, remember the zombie Cerberus Luffy runs into? Each head had a different personality. One was angry, another cowardly, another goofy. Doesn't that sound exactly like Teach? Sometimes he's the cheerful guy obsessed with cherry pie, chapter 225. Other times he's a ruthless strategist who kills his own captain, chapter 577. And then suddenly he's a wild dreamer, ranting about the future of the era, chapter 1107. Those mood swings? That's the 3 heads of Cerberus taking turns. And here's the final genius touch. In chapter 803, post-time skip, Blackbeard appears as a Yonko, and his base at Hachinosu is described as a chaotic island, basically the underworld itself. In mythology, Cerberus guards the gates of Hades, and Hachinosu is Blackbeard's Hades, where he hoards devil fruits and plots to conquer the world. Shanks' scar, the multiple personalities, the devil fruits, the bounty, everything points to Teach being a mythical zone Cerberus. Oda has been sprinkling clues from Jaya chapter 234 through Marineford, chapters 434 and 577, all the way to Egghead, chapter 1107, where Teach is more dangerous than ever. So, what do you think, convinced yet? Blackbeard is Cerberus, the Hellhound Guardian who's about to shake the One Piece world to its core. Shanks' claw marks, the 3-skull flag, the Cerberus of Zebek's ship name, the insomnia, the bounty that hints at 3 souls. It's all part of Oda's master plan to make Teach the ultimate villain. If that's not enough proof, tell me in the comments what's missing, because I can already hear the Hellhound barking. Say ha ha ha! Smash that subscribe button, share this theory with the crew, and stay tuned for the next deep dive into Oda's secrets. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.